hook, punch and the slap all are delivered in this circular type motion, so it's going round the houses. Intended target, a jawline, right, or side of the face. Everything you've learnt up to now has been pretty much linear. That means go from A to B in a straight line. A to B is always quicker than around the houses, so why learn the hook punch? Well, for a number of reasons. It could be that he has something up, in which case I have to go around the defences to find an opening through the side, or he might be really stupid and just be advancing with his hands down, in which case a hook punch is really useful because it spins the head very fast as opposed to just jawing the neck when if I pop it straight. So it has its places. When do I apply the hook punch? Well, you've got to take account of about 3 different ranges. There's going to be a hook punch which is fairly close. There's going to be one that's slightly a bit further away, and there's one where it's nearly at arm's length. They're the kind of ranges that you're going to employ the hook. Of course, you're going to work this, you could work this with your lead hand and your rear hand, but for this moment in time we're going to work predominantly the lead hand. Let's assume we're in a fighting stance. From here, the motion is that we raise the elbow and we draw the hand across. So the elbow kind of needs to be in line with the intended target, so that I am bringing it up and drawing a line across his face. You can have the elbow lower, but bear in mind then the hook is going to be like a bastardized uppercut, so driving from here. That will happen if you are having the conversation and decide to strike from there. So there's kind of like a hook and an uppercut at the same time. What we're working from is this position here. But you will work this mainly whatever stance you're most comfortable at, striking with your lead hand. So we're going to work close. So when we're working close, the point of impact is still these 2 knuckles, but the orientation of the fist is like this. It has its place, but be careful of it because we're not wearing gloves and we're not wearing wrappings, so you need to make sure you're hitting with the right knuckles, which is these 2. If you hit with these 2, then the wrist will kink and you'll break a load of shit. Bringing the elbow up, drawing this line across, going past the intended target. Past the intended target. Once I've got past there, I'm going to throw this over my shoulder. From here, I'll bring the elbow down and then reset. Of course, the power is coming from the floor up, so I need to rotate this foot at the knee turn and the hip turn, the shoulders turn, and then the hand goes here in this kind of whipping motion. So that's going to work. Bam! I'll work it without a target first, so with me, from here, working the lead hand, bang, boom. See, I'm hitting, boom, and I'm resetting. Bang, bang. Notice my feet are the first thing to turn, and the hand is the last thing to go. Bam, bam, bam. Of course, you can do the same with the rear. Just understand it's got a much further way to go. Once you've done that in place, just got through that motion, feel comfortable with it, then we'll take it to a target. Fairly tight from here. Almost, I can place my hands on his chest. We're just going to drive that across. What you're going to notice is the wrist is going to slightly turn closer and closer to this position here. That's the final one. So that in terms of the 3 positions, you've got a tight hook, that, tight hook. Then you've got a medium sized one. So here, that means the distance between my hand and my chest has got further apart, which means that the elbow is moving further away. Now to hold that position like that causes significant strain on the wrist. So what I need to do is turn the wrist slightly. So now the hook is almost like that. Okay, so this is again a typical boxing hook. So from here like that, so completely flat. So we're working the same mechanics again. Now you're going to deliver the hook in this fashion. So it's flat. See the distance between me and him has changed now. Final orientation is this inverted kind of hook. So here I'm still making contact with the same 2 knuckles. The only difference is the distance between me and him has got further apart. So again, sticking with the first thing I said, when this is tight and I start to move this here, the pressure comes on, so I need to release it by turning the wrist. As it goes even further, I start to feel the pressure here, so I need to turn the wrist so I end up in this position here. So I'm hooking like that. So with the pinky up and thumb almost down. Not completely down, but just almost like a 45-degree angle pointing towards the ground. So from here, boom. See now my elbow is more extended, not completely straight. You'll foot your arm up. So here just slightly bent like that. Just enough to make the distance with a slight bend. Again, get your reference point from here. That'll be a position to start from. Go from here. There's a lot more moving parts to that and more understanding to work, but work with the first one, tight, get a bit further, work horizontal, and then work inverted. They're the 3 hook punches. One thing I want to mention before I wrap it up is delivering a hook with the rear hand. So here I've had you working off the lead hand. Likely to work because it's closer to his face, so by the time we're seeing it, it'll be too late. But delivering a hook off the rear hand can be precarious because it's got much further to go, because it's all the way back, and it's got to go in a circular fashion towards his face. So rear hand hooking works when you're close, like this, as you see his boxes like weaving here and then delivering one over the side, perfectly fine. When you give it a bit further away, you're giving him more intel, more time to react to what you're doing. You've got to understand that just because you're training doesn't mean that the other guy isn't training either. So he might be skilled in boxing, he might have done a bit, and so by the time he sees you wind up, he might have popped you in the face. So if you're going to hook with the rear hand, make sure it's close from here, like that, or if it's a bit further away, do it with an attachment, so you know exactly where he is, okay? So that could be from here, that I've hit him, collected the back of his head or his garment, and now I've got time to, I've got the purchase to stop him running away from it, and I can deliver it. I can deliver it from fairly frontal, where here I've got the garment here, just driving that in like such, or I could be almost like a, you know, pissed up mates at the party sort of thing. So I've got my arm around the back of his head and I've got this, I've got some kind of garment here. It could be that I've wrapped his arm, alright? So from here, I've wrapped this, and now I've got free rein to do stuff like that. So have a think about that and also practice it. Getting hold of something and then striking it like such. So the hook punch is probably the second circular strike that you're going to learn on the curriculum. The first one being the slap. So if you haven't watched the video on the slap, I suggest you do, because all of the biomechanics involved in the slap are exactly the same as the hook punch. The only thing is the tool bit at the end changes. But it's a devastating strike, and it's one that should be in your arsenal.
Hi there, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and the content that we're putting together. If you did, then it would really help if you could like the video and subscribe to help us grow. Feel free to comment or tell us what you'd like to see on here. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.